Welcome back to Talking Wanderers. My name's Gordon Sharrock, and with me today is Liam Cronell, and we're here to discuss events on and off the field involving Bolton Wanderers this week, which has been a very, very eventful week. Well, Liam, plenty to talk about really this week in terms of events on the field for Wanderers. We saw on Tuesday night that there was a much improved performance down at Arsenal in the Cup. But where does that stand, do you think, in terms of the two big Premiership games, the Sunderland one on Saturday that unfortunately they lost 2-0, and then the trip down to Swansea?
Well, it'd be easy to say that, it's a much better performance against, a big club. This is the tonic that, the side needed, but you can only wait and see, because at the end of the day, they lost 2-1. That's the cold hard facts, and as positive as we can try and be, and we've all seen the penalty now. It was a blatant trip on Cahill, but then you start to wonder, well, is it luck against Bolton a little bit at the moment? I mean, Saturday was certainly another poor performance and a poor result. And like you say, eventful on the pitch, but also off it. I thought Gary Cahill's comments, not a guy who's used to wild revelations, said how tough it was at the moment, and I think that's quite significant, that there is a pressure in the dressing room to sort things out. And looking ahead to Swansea, it's going to be a tough trip, and I mean there were positives from the midweek game at Arsenal. Some of the performance in Mwamba, Gardner at left back, and I was at the press conference on Monday, and Owen Coyle said he wanted these players to really put the case forward that they should be included at the weekend, and I think some of them did do that.
It'd be interesting to see what he does with his team on Saturday, because he's made it clear in recent weeks that he's not. He has swung the axe once or twice. He's prepared to wield it again. It's going to be interesting to see how far he goes on Saturday this time.
Yeah, like I say, this was his. He said there were going to be changes, 9 in total, but this wasn't, in a way, giving the team a bit of fringe players a run out. He wanted them to stake a claim, because his team are underperforming at the moment. We've touched on it before on Talking Wanderers, but I think this is part of the problem, though. There's this constant chopping and changing. Yeah. No one's really staking a claim to a shirt. So obviously they look to change it. I'd like to see the sort of stick with the team again from Saturday. Let them try and sort of right the wrongs of the Sunderland result.
Yeah, I must admit that I thought that having got the result at Wigan and then going more or less with the same side again on Saturday, I thought that was the way forward, and it was just unfortunate that they didn't deliver. They had a poor performance and then got done with those 2 late goals. But it's interesting what you say about Gary Cahill, because I think what's happened now is throughout the difficult run at the start of the season, they were always hanging their hats on the fact that they had an easier, if you can call it that, run of fixtures. And after the Wigan one, which was a big boost, they come unstuck against a team that was level on points with them.
And again, in tomorrow's paper, Ricardo Gardner's saying how important, but he thinks the worst's over. Well, that's great if it is. That's if Wanderers go to Swansea and get a result, it's all well and good saying taking positives from a Carling Cup defeat at Arsenal, and they did play well. They knocked it around. Yes. It looked a lot more like their old selves, but equally they were against an Arsenal second team. So it's going to be difficult, but going to Swansea won't be easy. It's somewhere they haven't been for a long time. They've done moderately well since they've come up. But these are the games. If not winning, they certainly need to be taking a point from.
And just finally, it wasn't a performance I wouldn't think that would oust Jussi Jääskeläinen, but I think we saw from Adam Bogdan down at the Emirates that he redeemed himself to a great degree after his. I think he's probably gone a long way to ridding that Chelsea nightmare from his memory.
Yeah, it was a real horror show, wasn't it? I mean, a couple of costly blunders, but he was excellent in midweek. He really was, and it shows tremendous character, because not only has he come back in and performed, but he's had this 2 or 3 week gap almost to think it over in his head, and I think one of the main things for goalkeepers is mental strength, and you know, Adam, still relatively inexperienced, has shown that he's got that in abundance.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for tuning in to Talking Wanderers. We'll be here again on the website next week, and we'll look forward to seeing you then.